Imagine you are a Roman soldier fighting against the mighty king Mithridates of Pontus, who has invaded the Roman province of Bithynia. You are outnumbered and outmatched by his army of 136,000 men, 400 ships, and 100 scythed chariots. You are holding your ground outside the city of Chalcedon, hoping for reinforcements from your fellow consul Lucullus. Suddenly, you see a bright flash in the sky, followed by a loud boom. A fiery ball of rock and metal crashes into the ground right between the two armies. What would you do? How would you interpret this event? Was it a sign from the gods, a natural phenomenon, or something else? This is not a fictional scenario, but a historical fact. In 74 BC, during the Third Mithridatic War, a meteorite struck a Roman battlefield, causing panic and confusion among both sides. This was one of the earliest recorded cases of a meteor impact in human history, and it had a significant impact on the outcome of the war. In this video, we will explore the details of this extraordinary event and how it affected the course of history. The Third Mithridatic War was the final conflict between Rome and Mithridates, the king of Pontus, a powerful kingdom in Asia Minor. Mithridates was a formidable enemy of Rome who had challenged its dominance in the East for decades. He had a reputation for being a brilliant strategist, a charismatic leader, and a master of poisons. He also claimed to be the descendant of Alexander the Great and the fulfillment of ancient prophecies that predicted the downfall of Rome. He had a loyal following among the people of Asia Minor who resented Roman taxation and corruption. The war began when Mithridates invaded Bithynia, a neighboring kingdom that had been bequeathed to Rome by its last king, Nicomedes IV. The Roman consul Marcus Aurelius Cotta, who was in charge of the province, decided to confront Mithridates with his fleet and army. He sailed into the Bosphorus, the strait that separates Europe and Asia, and made his headquarters at Chalcedon, a major port city on the Asian side. He also sent urgent messages to his colleague Lucullus, who was preparing his army in the Roman province of Asia to come to his aid. Mithridates, however, was not intimidated by Cotta's presence. He marched his army into Bithynia while his fleet sailed to the Bosphorus. He met little resistance from the local population, who welcomed him as a liberator. He advanced rapidly towards Chalcedon, where Cotta was waiting for him. The Battle of Chalcedon was a land and naval engagement that took place in the spring of 74 BC. Cotta had fortified his position outside the city and had his fleet anchored behind him. He hoped to hold off Mithridates until Lucullus arrived with reinforcements. Mithridates, on the other hand, was eager to crush Cotta before Lucullus could join him. He sent his forces, led by Bastarnae mercenaries, against the Roman positions. The Bastarnae were fierce warriors from the north who fought with axes and shields. They were renowned for their speed and ferocity. The battle was fierce and bloody. The Romans and their allies fought bravely, but they were outnumbered and outmatched by the Pontic army. The Bastarnae broke through the Roman lines and chased them back to the city gates. The Romans tried to retreat into the city, but they were trapped by the portcullis, which had been lowered to prevent the enemy from entering. The Pontic archers and slingers showered them with arrows and stones, while the Pontic infantry charged at them. The Romans suffered heavy casualties and were on the verge of collapse. Then, something unexpected happened. A meteorite, estimated to be about 1 meter in diameter, entered the atmosphere at a high speed. It created a bright fireball, visible from miles away. It exploded in the air, producing a loud sonic boom. It then crashed into the ground, creating a large crater and scattering debris over a wide area. The impact site was near the center of the battlefield, between the two armies. The effect of the meteorite was devastating. The explosion and the shockwave killed or wounded many soldiers on both sides. The debris and dust clouded the air, creating darkness and confusion. The noise and the flash terrified the combatants, who thought it was a divine intervention. Some believed it was a sign of victory, others of defeat. Some thought it was a weapon of mass destruction, others a natural disaster. Some praised the gods, others cursed them. Some fled, others fought on. The meteorite changed the course of the battle and the war. Cotta, who had been wounded and captured by the Pontic forces, was released by Mithridates, who thought the meteorite was a sign of his favor. He offered Cotta peace terms, which the consul accepted. Mithridates then withdrew his army and fleet from Bithynia and moved to other fronts. He hoped to consolidate his gains and prepare for the inevitable clash with Lucullus, who had arrived too late to save Cotta. The meteorite also changed the course of history. It was one of the first documented cases of a meteor impact in human history, and it had a lasting impact on the culture and science of the ancient world. It was recorded by several ancient historians, such as Plutarch, Appian, and Dio Cassius, who gave different accounts of the event. It was also mentioned by several ancient poets, such as Lucan and Ovid, who used it as a metaphor for the chaos and violence of the civil wars that plagued Rome. It was also studied by several ancient scientists, such as Pliny the Elder and Seneca, who tried to explain its nature and origin. It was also the subject of many legends and myths, such as the story of Phaethon, the son of the sun god Helios, who crashed his chariot into the earth, causing a great conflagration.